If you're a little bit like me, you have a lot of ideas. Hopefully, we all do. But whether it's a business idea, an idea of a book you want to read, somebody mentions something, it's easy to get overwhelmed with those or to lose them or to not know which one's most important. And I recently saw a couple of ideas about how somebody was doing this, but there wasn't a way to implement it. So I want to show you two ways that I've come up with to do this in Roam Research and Notion. All right, let's get into it. Originally, my idea was to take this into Roam. I really like using Roam for jotting down ideas. I find it very good for, quickly putting in some links. The downside, and I knew this going into it, was that it's not always super fast to load. And when I've got an idea or somebody mentions something, right, you're having a conversation with somebody, you don't want to, pick up the phone like, well, just give me a minute. Nope, give me a couple more seconds. Hold on. So, but I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I would prefer it in Roam. Let's go ahead and do this. Turns out to be a little difficult because something I want to do is to increase the score of it over time if I revisit it. So I went back and realized, they do have something that I haven't made much use of, which is attributes. So if you're familiar with Roam Research, you're familiar with the idea of the hashtags and brackets and different ways of making a page. This also makes a page. So what I wanted to do was to be able to say, hey, here's an idea of something I've got. And after reading Nest Lab's article about kind of the idea behind this, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I've used something kind of similar, but I was like, maybe time to formalize this and put it together. So I wrote this down as an idea and I gave it an attribute. And if you click on that, it is actually a page. It gives you a score, and I have created the table, which I will show you. Because initially I was trying to just make an attribute table, which is native to Roam. That did not work because you couldn't sort it. And the idea being here over time, if you come back, you revisit this idea, you expand on it, maybe you bold something, maybe you change it to a 2, it increases over time. So what you have to do is actually use the query builder, which is I don't know exactly if it's a third-party tool, how you define it, but it's easy to install. There's tons of great things you can do with that. When you go in here to Roam, let me think about this, you can come in here and see in the Roam Depot, if you don't have it installed, you can find the query builder. But to get away from that, I'll just show you real quick what it took. This was a little bit much because what I had to do was filter out a few things. So the first thing I did was just I added a condition as a clause where the node has the attribute idea score, and that is enough to pull it back. But what you also get is anywhere else it's mentioned. So for example, I got the daily page as a result because it has that attribute within that page. So I had to not or exclude where a page has the title of date, which just excludes any date pages from showing up because all I want is the node or the block. Then I also excluded my templates page because I have now I made a template so that the idea again being fast, that I can quickly enter the symbols I have set up for a template, start typing idea, and then it gives me that outline where it's already got the hashtag idea and then it's already got the attribute with a score of 1 below it. And so I'm just again filtering that out so that the templates page and then or in the page, because both of those show up if I don't exclude it. So in my mind, not great, but took me a little while to figure out, and it cleaned it up a lot, which I like, because over time, if you just quickly add these to your daily pages, you're going to get a bunch of day pages showing up, and I knew that was going to be ugly. But then I thought, you know what? I know enough about building with Notion and putting together databases. There's got to be a pretty quick way to do this. So sure enough, went into Roam and just created an inline database as a full page. And did this right here. Just made a very quick one where a new database where I have an idea. It's just the text. That's the normal one. Change the name to say idea. And I created a column called idea score. And I just wrote to remind myself increase over time as I revisit this or add notes to it. And then I added tags. Just kind of a nice way. Sometimes I add tags to stuff. It's nice to have a quick way if you add kind of general ideas to it, but not needed. Don't have to have it. Now, what I did do is sort. So I sorted by the idea score and descending, right? We want the highest scores, the things we appear to be most interested in, to appear over time. And then I also created a board view. I'm going to see if I use this, more of a Kanban view. And this just took a little bit of figuring out here where you group. You can't see it because my title of the column is so long, but I grouped by the increased score over time. At first it was grouping by the name. and then I can sort, and then I can also choose by the number. So I want to group every what, and that's just saying, I could go every 3, so 0, 1, 2 would have it, how do you want to kind of bin these out? And I could probably change this. I don't think I'm going to get a score of 1,000 in the next 100 years, so I think even up to 10 is probably sufficient. There we go. And so now I've got 2 quick ways to do this. One, I think entering into Notion is going to be a little bit quicker. I'm still not sure if this is the one I'm going to stick with or if I'm going to end up using it in Roam and going from there. But I've got both of them set up, just going to play around with them, and thought it'd be kind of fun to show what you can do as far as keeping track of ideas and then keeping score over time of these things that you revisit time and time again, so you can see, hey, maybe this is something that needs more attention. I should be putting more time into. All right, hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about this.